everyone. I am Marina Orms, and I'm super excited today to have a guest with me. My guest today is Abigail Hall, and Abigail is the current director of the Oregon Holistic Nurses Association, which is an organization near and dear to my heart because I am the former director of a said organization. And so I was a director from 2014 to 2023. I believe those are the dates. And I was a secretary before that. So I've been involved in no, we call it affectionately, for a long time. And just recently stepped down and have been just so honored to hand the torch over to Abigail, who's been in the role for a couple of years now, or what is it, a year and a half. So
Yeah.
anyway, welcome, Abigail. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Marina. Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here today with you.
Yay, yay.
Yeah.
So let's just start out by getting to know you a little bit. What brought you to holistic nursing?
Yeah. Well, as you said, I've been the director since 2023. It's been a learning curve, and I feel like I found a great community. I was a secretary for 2 years, I think, before that, and had gone to the conferences for a number of years. And each time I went to the conference, it lit something up in me. My focus for all my life is learning, is curiosity and learning, knowing that there's just so much out there that the universe and the earth can provide for us. And so the conferences and ONA, as we lovingly call it, provides that as a community. I have always been interested in, what now we call holistic nursing, or I call holistic nursing, but I didn't know what it was. I knew that I would find, secrets of the universe and ways to connect with myself and with others holistically, but I didn't know what that was when I was growing up. We had, a lot of food and herbs and flowers around in my house, and so I think I was steeped in that growing up. Just what natural remedies are out there. And my family comes from a varied background of spiritual and religious practices. And so that gave me the interest in looking outside and looking inside, both to find what really resonated with me. So
Yeah,
I think,
yeah. Yeah, no, you brought out some really key points there. I think, a lot of holistic nurses, and I'll talk in a minute about what holistic nursing and the Holistic Nurses Organization are all about. But just to bring out what you said about, the connection to nature, the connection to spirituality, and the importance of having our spiritual needs met as part of a part of nursing and part of how what we think about in terms of our healing and our needs. So those and that path, I think for you is really similar to a lot of us, just really wanting to have that wider connection, especially when we think about healing and nursing.
mhm, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear from your perspective. Like, what is holistic nursing and what is Ona doing?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I started out pre-med. So I was, on a path to go to medical school and took all those classes. And there was something I felt like missing, in all of that curriculum and all of that training, like this kind of underlying pathway to wellness and pathway to health. It was very allopathic in my focus. And so I think that holistic nursing really provided that framework, for mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health, and looking at all of those ways of being healthy, those different modalities that really engaged health. And holistic nursing really is about finding what works for the person.
Mm,
Really we're our own best teachers. If we if we have the confidence and the wherewithal to use our intuition, we're our own best teachers to find out what really can help us heal. Not that, we might not be the ones that could provide that. We might seek it.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think holistic nursing really is about that innate knowing, that innate wellness of being able to seek, and find and seek what you really need. And it might not be just one thing. It might be a number of things that you need, which is great, which is fine because it's provided, it's out there. And so Ona, you asked Ona, what does
Yeah.
Oregon Holistic Nurses Association kind of do? And it's a place, as you know, where really we are elevating community, and allowing people to make those connections and to know that innate knowing and to provide education for what could possibly be out there, what modalities are out there, how people are learning, growing individually and collectively, and provide that, you know, sacred space, that container, so that we can connect and grow like little neurons growing together and connecting and sharing information. So
And Ona has for many years done a annual conference. So that's where a lot of that connecting happens and community and seeing what modalities are possible.
yeah, Ona has had a conference for maybe all the 16 or 17 years that it's been in existence, or many of them,
Mhm.
where really insightful people come together and are able to share not only what they know, but make those connections to other practices. And this year, our theme is from learning to leading. So incorporating holism into your practice. Like, how can you bring those holistic insights and modalities into your own practice for not only yourself, but your patients or clients or family or community?
Mm.
And that really, I feel like, touches home to a lot of what we have been striving to do, which is, people wonder how can I use these things not only for myself, but the people I interact with every day, and how can I help them, help guide them towards wellness, whatever that looks like for them, whatever their health looks like for them. And so that's our theme this year. And in the past, the themes have been wonderful, really, guided by your astrology, in many, many, many ways. What is the draw? What is the concrete need at that time for people to learn and to integrate into themselves?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so I love what you're saying. So, um, first of all, leadership, I think that as holistic practitioners, we need to see ourselves as leaders, and that because they're the world, we're in a world in transition, and we need to have new models going forward. We need, the healthcare system is not working as it is, and I think that a holistic perspective is one way that we can re-envision, what does this look like going forward? How do we meet people's needs? How do we meet our needs as nurses and practitioners? And the other piece, so I'm totally like, I totally love that idea of leadership. And I think for a lot of holistic nurses, that's like they don't really see themselves as leaders initially, but as you realize where change is needed, that's where we need to move is into those roles, and being role models for others in how we do this. And the other piece you brought up about the astrology is, yeah, for folks who follow me and my channel here, we talk about astrology every day. And so for me, astrology is my modality. It's the tool that I use for facilitating a holistic approach to healing. And And so it's so fun. And this is another way that is a new view, maybe for the future, a new model, is we've always looked at the astrology of the conference dates to
Mhm.
guide us in deciding what the theme would be. And then I have done traditionally a little write up of the astrological energies for each conference, and then the participants have access to that and they can see kind of where the moon is and what the vibe is, and how things might shift if the moon changes signs, and what days might be better for different activities. So that's just one example of how we can integrate sort of holistic approaches and expanding how we think about things.
Mhm. It's been so helpful. There's so much movement and energy and information out there to use that your assessment to hone in on really what the threads are, that are coming out, that are speaking to us, and that we could speak back to. And so it's been so helpful to use those for the conference. Really, I think it just hits the heart of what what the path is right at that time. And so that's been like the best tool.
So cool. Yeah. Yay. So you told us a little bit about this year's conference and the theme, and um, if you could say a little bit more about who comes to the conference, and what they get out of being there.
Yeah. As you've seen, we have kind of a stalwart collective, small collective that comes every year of our members. So you can have a membership to the Oregon Holistic Nurses Association and get a lot of insights, information, discounts, many different things. But each year, I think we've seen new groups come in from
Hmm.
all over the state, and also including our counterparts in Washington and California. And these past 2 years that I've seen, we've had people come from Colorado, from Arizona, and New Mexico. And so we're reaching out, to a larger cohort of interested not only nurses, but holistic practitioners who are looking for a place to connect with like-minded people, or not like-minded people, but just people in general who are really interested in seeing different ways that they could interact with holism and how they can use it in their practice. And so that's been really exciting, because from different places in the United States, everybody has kind of a different practice and they use different things from the land, and they have different ways of thinking about things. So it's been really nice to see all those differences. And also, what I've seen, which is incredible in the last 2 years, is newer, to the field nurses. So, nurses just coming into the field of nursing, or practitioners just graduating and going into their field of practice, who are looking to expand, what they know, their education, how they work with their clients, patients, or participants. And that is so exciting because I think, as you just mentioned before, we have this underlying idea or theory, which is correct, that healthcare is kind of broken, right? It was built on a disease model and not a wellness model. Like, how can we help you be the best that you can possibly be? Knowing that sometimes we have ailments and diseases that are caused by, innate metabolic or, disease disorders, but there's also always an interplay or sometimes a causation from another realm. And so it's been really nice to interact with these new to practice, nurses and practitioners. And you could see a bit of the tide changing, or I've seen a bit of the tide changing in the last couple of years, which makes me really excited because as we, put people, we don't put them, but as they go into their into their roles, they're really one change maker, and as you said, it's really about, you know, starting from one person. One person can make a great deal of change. I think it's the Caritas model, right? What if you were put in this at this very time for this very person? So it might be one person making a great deal of change just in themselves and their community or a larger, tide swell of change. So that's been really exciting. And we have a very excitable conference coordinator this year who's looking to put on multiple conferences, including a one-day conference coming up in the winter of 2026, that's local to Portland, but always open to people from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, so cool. So, and it's not just nurses, right? It could be, but it generally it is healing practitioners.
Yeah.
Do you say? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's,
Yeah.
excuse me, um, nurses, healing practitioners, educators, coaches. We've got physicians or providers of many different licenses, um, counselors. Yeah, many different people coming together to share their knowledge and connect.
Yeah, yeah. So it's sort of beautiful because the holistic model is really a way of, well, it's not a way of doing, it's a way of being, right? That's part of the philosophy of holistic nursing. And so it's not just a way of thinking, but also as we bring in these and so when you are talking about different realms, I just want to call out at least from my perspective, and it aligns perfectly with astrology. We look at mind, body, spirit, and emotion. So you have four dimensions right there, four components of wholeness. And, depending on what system you use, there might be more than four, but four is nice because it aligns with earth, air, fire, and water, which align with the zodiac signs. So, um, yeah, so it really for anyone who wants to practice holistically, then you can get introduced to different modalities, different techniques and tools that you
Mm.
might have. But really, what you're bringing to that holistic practice is yourself, your presence, your experience, your like you were saying, that ability to make a difference for even if it's that one patient that you're with on that day. Maybe that's your whole purpose. So yeah, so much. And then we're gonna share also, the website and how to find out more about the conference and all of that. But um, so they're in Oregon. I just wanted to clarify though that it's not limited to, you don't have to be a practitioner in Oregon to attend.
That's correct. And you don't even have to be from Oregon or a member to attend. The conferences are open to anyone.
Yeah, and it is generally for professionals. So that's a good piece to understand as well.
Yeah, we do
But
offer contact hours through the California Board of Nursing, but other practitioners have used those that educational pieces to apply to their own licensing boards and gotten continuing education or contact hours.
perfect. Yeah, beautiful. So it's so important. And other than the conference, is there anything else you want to mention that Ona is working on? Or I know I'm not on the board anymore, so I don't know what's what you're up to.
Well, we miss you, and you're always welcome. You've been a guiding light
Mhm.
in the past and still are, even if
Mhm.
you're not at the board meetings. But we, everyone on the board is involved in some sort of project this year, which is very exciting. We have a huge, robust push to start the education platform. So we already have some prototype courses that are being built right now, and that will be for members or non-members to get educational content and be able to get contact hours if they want and go on
Online.
online. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
We also have people that do in-person seminars and workshops and meetings that they offer. Sometimes they offer contact hours, sometimes they don't, but those are in person. And usually they're around. they're in Oregon,
Mm,
but we're looking to see what we can expand to in the future.
mm,
But we feel like both in person and virtual options are really the way to go to meet people where they're at, what they need. And the
mm.
virtual option, is very, very helpful for people who, want some education, want some content, and can access online
Yeah.
education. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. And then just to bring it in too for people who are not don't consider themselves to be professional or practitioners of a particular modality or a nurse, just that this is so applicable to all of us. And so, how does this apply to people who are working on self-care and thinking about, maybe their role in supporting holism or holistic thinking?
Yeah. It it can be overwhelming. Sometimes people, I think you alluded to earlier, think that, oh, what I don't know, have all this knowledge. I'm not a provider. I might not even be a nurse. What do I have to offer? But there is so much information and energetic education that people have that they have inside of them to share. And so we want to be able to call that out. You don't need all these letters behind your name to be able to teach other people what you know, what you've been taught, what's innate in you. So I think that's, sometimes people feel overwhelmed, like I don't have much to offer, but you do. You really do. I'll just say that many times, you do.
Mhm.
And but it is a place where you can take all of this education and use it not only, like you said, for self-care, which is one of the tenets of
Mhm.
holistic nursing. You know, it's almost, the heal thyself, principle. To be a leader and to be um, steeped, in the holistic practices, really it is about self-care. It is about using what you find that works for you, what's guided you to certain modalities to help yourself in wellness. And that journey is you're teaching to other people, right? It might not look the same. It actually never looks the same.
Right.
Everybody's journey is completely different, but that journey helps you to be able to teach other people. And so we love to put out all of these different teachings and seminars and modalities so that people can get different tastes of what is out there so that they can use that for not only their own self-care and self-understanding, but to be able to help their friend, help their patient, help their colleague, and saying, you know, what would help you most? What's calling to you? What speaks to you? Where do you need to focus that energy, that love?
I think that's so true for everyone. And as we're thinking about our self-care, that maybe this unlocks some ideas for, different modalities you might try or different ways you might think about self-care. It's not just it's getting enough rest, right? It's like self-care is on the level of mind, body, spirit, and emotion. And maybe it's doing a self-assessment, like nurses do assessments, but we can all do assessments on ourselves. Like where where do I have a need that's not being met? Can I check in with myself on all these different levels? And then maybe some of these different modalities give us some ideas of what direction to look or how to think about things.
Yeah.
And it's just also so important, I think, with the direction, everything that is happening in the world and how we do think of ourselves in terms of, both self-care and also making a positive impact. And I talk about that a lot here too, is like taking care of yourself first so that you can then think, you have to have your own battery charged so you are able to make a positive contribution or even just show up and be um in a good mood or in a way that can be helpful to other people.
I
So
think it's
that's
an age-old principle that we got away from and had to define as self-care in order to again see the importance of it. But it was, it's been all ever present ever since we were um, first become, humans, is
yes.
this need to really take care of ourselves, to understand ourselves, to be able to support ourselves. Um,
Yeah.
and use that, for ourselves and to teach others.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and I also love what you said about elevating community
Mm,
and how, maybe some people finding other professionals who have this perspective can really be make you feel like you're not alone. and
mhm,
and but that's true for all of us, and community is so important right now, finding people who, and like you said, maybe they're like-minded, but maybe they think differently than you, but you can share and exchange ideas, and it's that mutual experience of respect and support that I think we can cultivate consciously. And I love that you're really bringing that in.
mhm.
What are your favorite practices or modalities that help you feel rejuvenated?
I will say a little bit right now. Just I remember I went to one of the conferences and we have healing sessions, that practitioners offer. And you don't have to be licensed to be a practitioner, right? Like if you are a practitioner of a modality, that is what you practice. And so I had a healing session with a person, and afterwards I was like, cool, what was that? That was really amazing. And so I went and did a bunch of research and took some classes and did some education and kind of made it my own.
Mm,
It's a combination of like craniosacral and Reiki and myofascial release. And so that's been really something that I love. I actually love doing it more than getting it. So
neat.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's really energetic movement through the body and
Mm,
how the tissues and fascia can move with the energy in the body. But besides that, oh, sorry, what are you gonna say
yeah,
something?
no, I was just thinking there are so many modalities, and they can be in the different realms of emotion, spirit, body, so some of them might have to do with movement. I mean, just
Mm,
exercise can be a modality, but also, things where you're being very receptive, like receiving a massage or sound healing, or there are
mm,
just so many different variations of what can help us in that journey toward wholeness.
hmm I do love the movement modalities, like yoga, dance, and Tai Chi really are the ones that speak to me personally, and just being able to move with music sometimes or not, just move your body in the ways that it calls out.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And so, yeah, even something like bringing the astrology in and looking at your moon sign can kind of tell you, like, what's the element that is where you have that need for nourishment, and what's going to
Mhm.
be most caring to you.
I am an air, so that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. Yep. And thinking and ideas too. Yeah, but movement.
Mhm.
Wonderful.
And I'll just
Well,
say the
yeah,
opposite of that is
yeah.
meditation. And I find
Mm,
meditation really important to me. And I had
mm,
a really strong meditation practice and it kind of fell away, which is fine. This is, the mind of the observer. Like it just didn't work in my life at that time. And now I'm back with it.
mm.
And I think that stillness, mindfulness, meditation is really one of my favorite modalities that I love to talk to people about and how
Yeah.
they can incorporate it in their lives.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. That's so important. Yeah, right. And the spiritual modalities, if that's, if it fits maybe in multiple different realms, but um yeah, right. There's an example of stillness, right? There's movement and then there's stillness. They're both important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Mhm.
Um, Great. Well, before we share contact information, is there anything else you want to add or say?
I just want to thank you so much for having me here and being able to talk about myself, which I don't do a lot. So it's really nice. And the Oregon Holistic Nurses Association, I think I found something that brought out things that I love in me out to the world, and the world reflected it back. And so, and you've been a guiding light in that. So thank you
Oh,
for
thank
your role
you.
in that. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah, it feels really important, and I'm continuing to do my work, and I'm sharing it in this way. So, so cool, and um, yeah, it just really feels like that we're at a moment in time where we need to think creatively, think differently. What are the what possibilities, and not just get in overwhelm about things we can't control, but to think creatively about what we can create.
mhm.
So, thank you
And I
for
think
the work you're
astrology
doing.
provides, oh, thank you. I think
Yeah.
astrology does provide those insights, that guidance. So thank you for the work that you're doing out there.
Thank you. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so Ona has a website, OregonHolisticNurses.org. Is that
Mhm.
right? Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. And what else? What other else do you want to tell people about how to find Ona and you?
Yeah, that website is great. It's OregonHolisticNurses.org. And we have a lot of information on there. You can get a hold of us in many different ways. You can email info@OregonHolisticNurses.org, and our conference information is on there. What is holistic nursing is on there. Our board is on there if you want to take a look at who's on the board right now. And then me personally, I'm Abigail Hall, and my email is the love and the light at Gmail. So if anybody wants to email me, please do. I love connecting with people, and yeah, as I said, I'm just a curiosity, based person. So I'm always interested in learning more about people, the world, myself.
Yes, yes, indeed. And yeah, let us know your questions, because I can try to address questions. Maybe we could get Abigail to come back if there's another big topic we could cover. I did forget to mention, you can, if you are a nurse or know someone who is a nurse, you can actually get certified as a holistic nurse. There are is that, yes, board certified holistic nurses. And so that is an option. And I did have my holistic nursing certification when I was a nurse, which I'm not practicing anymore. But so that's just something I thought people should know. And there is an American Holistic Nurses Association as well. You can find them on the web. And I am Marina Orms. I'm at astrologyheals.com. And thank you so much, Abigail. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Let us know your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Thanks, Marina.